As always, hello from Southern Ontario, November 22nd. So the previous video, I kind of fell bass backwards into that one, looking into the figures of the money between Canada and Argentina. Because the lefties are losing it on a global level because of the president-elect. I think he's the president, I think that's the right term. And I can't pronounce his name probably, Javier Milei. I'll just refer to him as the president. Quick note of Sky News Australia. I think it's Sky News. They have their daily lefties losing it report. It's quite entertaining. Anyways, the lefties are losing it over this fellow being elected in Argentina. Previous video I mentioned Klaus Schwab had bragged that they penetrated the government in Argentina, so they've been WEF managed the same as Canada has for quite some time. Anyways, this guy, the president-elect, he's a madman. He's just a lunatic. You gotta like the guy. He campaigned several times. He's carrying a chainsaw, representative of how he's going to slash government spending. There's a video of him. He has all the ministries up on the board, right? Ministry of Culture and Heritage or whatever, out. Minister of this bunk, out. Ministry of this, out. And some of the interviews and the speeches he's given, his campaign speeches, he curses like a sailor. Oh, to make a sailor blush. There's one interview with him who obviously, whoever the news channel is interviewing this leftist, and he just loses it on her. He's just like, left-ar. Well, I can't even say the words he uses on my channel, right? Again, he curses like a sailor. His fiery orientation, cursing like a blue streak in his campaign speeches and whatnot. And he has said, amongst other things, that he will not, Argentina will not deal with communist countries, socialist countries, the WEF, out. Yeah, the guy does not mince words. And he's quite entertaining. And the lefties, again, are losing it. One of his campaign promises, and people are dubious he's going to follow through on this one, is he's going to get rid of the central bank, the Argentinian central bank. That would be the equivalent of the Bank of Canada or the Fed in the U.S. I don't know about that one, but yeah. The thing is, he's got a desperate mess to try and clean up. I mean, you can't fix those kind of numbers. The inflation rate, 150% roughly. The debt, $500 billion. And think of the forces he's up against. The WEF and the leftists are just going to be trying to thwart his efforts at every turn, are they not? And he's got a pretty short run of time to start showing some progress. Right? I mean, that's obvious. It'll be interesting to see what happens, and certainly entertaining. This guy's quite the character. You gotta like him in that sense. No political background at all. He was an actor and a soccer player, apparently. And people reach for desperate measures at desperate times. Argentina is in a desperate way. And in the previous video I'd mentioned, I'll just cover it quickly here again in summation in case you missed the last one. Argentina's debt is pretty close to $500 billion US. Canada's debt's $2 trillion US. Although our government doesn't admit to that, but 40% below the poverty line in Argentina. I say 25% in Canada, and in the previous video I justified those figures. Anyways, can this fellow dig Argentina out? And the leftists on a global level, excuse me, they're losing it. The lefties in the news, that are lefties, are comparing him to Trump in 2016 and comparing him to Meloni, who's in charge of Italy and is still Europe's most popular leader. They called her, the lefties called her, a fascist. Lefties losing it. Anything to the right, anything center or right, lefties lose it, right? Meloni's still having trouble with the mass migration problems. Thank you. Thank you. Courtesy of the WEF. I mean, the fishermen can't get out into the Mediterranean for the boats with the migrants flooding Italy. She's losing a bit of popularity in the polls on that one because she's just flooded. No pun intended. Sorry, I kind of wandered off into European politics there at the end. But yeah, stay tuned.